There's a reason you feel different. Why you've always sensed there was more beneath the surface of reality. Why certain people seem to effortlessly bend circumstances to their will, while others struggle against invisible barriers their entire lives. You've been told it's luck, privilege, or natural talent. That's the cover story. The truth is far more precise, and once you understand it, everything changes. Every human being operates on a specific frequency, not metaphorically, literally. Your nervous system, your brain waves, your heart rhythm, they're all broadcasting a signal into the quantum field around you. And that field, it's listening, it's responding, it's rearranging a reality based on the frequency you're transmitting. But here's what they never taught you. That frequency isn't fixed, it's programmable. And the instructions for how to reprogram it have been hidden in plain sight for centuries. The deception. From the moment you entered the education system, you were taught to ignore the most sophisticated technology on the planet, your own consciousness. You were trained to focus on the external world, to measure success by material accumulation, to trust authorities over your own inner knowing. This wasn't an accident, it was design. Because when you don't understand how your own frequency works, you become easy to predict, easy to control, easy to drain. Think about it. You spend your days absorbing frequencies from screens, crowds, artificial lights, processed foods, synthetic environments. Your nervous system is constantly trying to adapt to signals that don't match your natural resonance. No wonder you feel tired, anxious, and disconnected. You've been living in frequency pollution your entire life, and most people never realize it. They think depression, brain fog, and chronic stress are normal. They're not normal. They're symptoms of being out of tune with your own operating system. The ancient traditions knew this. They understood that consciousness wasn't produced by the brain. It was channeled through it. They developed practices specifically designed to optimize your frequency, to clear interference, and to synchronize your internal systems with natural rhythms. But that knowledge was gradually suppressed, fragmented, commercialized. What was once common wisdom became esoteric. What was once practical science became mysticism. Your biological antenna. Your body isn't just flesh and bone, it's a sophisticated receiver and transmitter, constantly interfacing with fields of information that science is only beginning to understand. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field 60 times stronger than your brain. Your spine acts as a crystalline antenna. Your DNA responds to sound frequencies, light spectrums, and even coherent intention. Every cell in your body is oscillating, creating interference patterns that extend beyond your physical boundaries. When these oscillations are chaotic, when your thoughts are scattered, your emotions turbulent, your breathing shallow, your external reality reflects that chaos. But when your internal frequencies align, when your heart rate variability increases, when your brain waves synchronize, something remarkable happens. The field around you begins to organize. Opportunities appear. Timing improves. What you need starts showing up in ways that seem impossibly coordinated. This isn't magic, it's physics. Coherent frequencies create order. Incoherent frequencies create disorder. And you have far more control over your coherence than you've been led to believe. The key is understanding that your thoughts, emotions, and physical state aren't separate systems. They're components of one unified field generator. When you learn to orchestrate all three simultaneously, you don't just feel better. You begin to influence reality at the quantum level. Most people are walking around with severely compromised signals. Their frequency is being hijacked by trauma patterns, limiting beliefs, and energetic debris they've picked up from others. Trauma isn't just psychological, it's frequency distortion. When you experience shock, your nervous system creates interference patterns that can persist for decades. These patterns don't just affect your mood, they alter the information field around you, attracting experiences that reinforce the original wound. This is why healing isn't just about feeling better emotionally. It's about clearing frequency distortions so your signal can broadcast clearly again. The beliefs you carry operate like filters on your receiver. If you believe you're unworthy of abundance, that belief doesn't just affect your confidence, it literally filters out abundance frequencies from your perception. You become blind to opportunities that exist all around you. Even the people you spend time with affect your frequency. Coherent people amplify your coherence. Chaotic people drag you into chaos. This isn't about judgment. It's about recognizing that frequency is contagious. The modern environment is designed to keep you incoherent. News cycles trigger stress responses. Social media fragments your attention. Artificial electromagnetic fields interfere with your natural rhythms. Processed foods destabilize your biochemistry. Breaking free isn't about escaping to a cave. It's about learning to maintain your frequency regardless of external conditions. It's about becoming so coherent internally that chaos can't penetrate your field. The coherence protocols. Coherence begins with breath, not just any breathing. Conscious, rhythmic breathing that synchronizes your heart rate, brain waves, and nervous system. When you breathe in a 4-7-8 pattern, inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8, you're not just relaxing, you're tuning your autonomic nervous system to a specific frequency. Do this consistently, and your baseline state begins to shift. But breath is just the foundation. True coherence requires aligning your emotional field with your intention. This is where most people get stuck. They try to think their way into a new reality, but thought without emotion is just mental activity. It's emotion that provides the power, the charge that amplifies your signal. The secret is learning to generate coherent emotions on command. Gratitude, appreciation, compassion, these aren't just nice feelings. They are specific frequency signatures that organize your field and influence your environment. Spend 5 minutes every morning generating authentic appreciation for something in your life. Feel it in your chest. Let it expand through your entire body. You're not just practicing positive thinking, you're tuning your biofield to a frequency that attracts coherent experiences. Visualization becomes exponentially more powerful when combined with coherent emotion. When you imagine your desired reality while your heart is in a state of appreciation, you're not just daydreaming. You're broadcasting a specific frequency pattern into the quantum field. The purification process. Before you can transmit clearly, you need to clear the interference. This means systematically releasing the frequencies that don't serve you. Start with your physical environment. Everything around you is either raising or lowering your frequency. Colors, sounds, textures, electromagnetic fields, they all affect your state. Create spaces that support coherence rather than compromise it. Your digital environment is just as important. The content you consume literally programs your subconscious. If you're constantly absorbing fear-based media, your nervous system will calibrate to fear frequencies. Curate your inputs as carefully as you would your food. Emotional purification requires facing what you've been avoiding. Those suppressed emotions aren't gone. They're creating interference patterns in your field. The only way through is through. But here's the key. You don't have to relive trauma to release it. You can discharge trapped emotions through movement, breath, sound, and conscious completion. The goal isn't to analyze every wound. It's to clear the frequency distortions they've created. Energy hygiene is just as important as physical hygiene. End each day by consciously releasing any frequencies you've picked up that aren't yours. Visualize golden light flowing through your system, clearing anything that doesn't match your natural resonance. Once your frequency is clear, you need to learn how to maintain it. This isn't about building walls, it's about establishing energetic sovereignty. Your intention is your primary protection. When you're unclear about what you want, you're vulnerable to every frequency around you. But when your intention is crystal clear, it acts like a tuning fork, keeping you aligned with coherent frequencies while filtering out chaos. Physical posture affects your frequency more than you realize. When you collapse your spine, you compress your energy field. When you stand tall with your heart open, you expand your field and broadcast strength. Predators, whether human or energetic, can sense confidence from across a room. Boundaries aren't just behavioral, they're frequency barriers. When you're clear about what you will and won't allow in your space, you emit a signal that most interference simply bounces off. Learn to read environments before you enter them. Every space has a predominant frequency. Some spaces will drain you, others will charge you. Develop the sensitivity to feel the difference and the wisdom to act on what you feel. Sometimes protection means saying no to invitations, obligations, relationships that consistently lower your frequency. This isn't selfish, it's self-preservation. You can't help others if you're energetically compromised. The manifestation mechanics. Reality responds to frequency, not force. Most people exhaust themselves trying to push outcomes into existence, but when you understand frequency, you realize that manifestation is about alignment, not effort. Everything that exists has a frequency signature. Money, relationships, health, opportunities, they all vibrate at specific frequencies. To attract something, you need to match its frequency. This is why visualization works when it's done correctly. You're not trying to create something from nothing. You're tuning your frequency to match what already exists in potential form. But here's where most people go wrong. They try to manifest from a state of lack. They visualize having money because they feel poor. They imagine perfect health because they feel sick. But the frequency of lack attracts more lack, regardless of what you're visualizing. True manifestation begins with gratitude for what you already have. From that frequency of abundance, you can naturally expand into greater abundance. It's not about pretending you have what you don't have. It's about recognizing the abundance that's already present in your life. Timing is everything in manifestation. There are natural rhythms to creation, times when the field is more receptive to new patterns. Learn to work with these rhythms rather than against them. The moon phases, seasonal cycles, and even your own biological rhythms all affect your manifestation power. Pay attention to when your visualization sessions feel most potent and schedule accordingly. This is where most people get stuck. They learn the principles, practice the techniques, and start seeing results. But then they hit resistance from family, friends, society, and their own conditioning. Frequency sovereignty means you no longer need external validation to maintain your coherence. You're not trying to prove anything to anyone. You're simply being who you naturally are when all the interference is removed. This doesn't mean becoming arrogant or isolated. True sovereignty is inclusive. You can maintain your frequency while remaining compassionate toward those who are still struggling with theirs. But it does mean you stop compromising your energy to make others comfortable. You stop dimming your light to fit in. You stop apologizing for operating at frequencies that others can't yet access. Your sovereignty is a gift to the collective. Every person who masters their frequency makes it easier for others to do the same. You're not just changing your own life, you're contributing to a global frequency upgrade. The old systems were built on frequency suppression. They required people to operate from fear, scarcity, and separation to maintain control. As more people reclaim their frequency sovereignty, these systems naturally begin to evolve or collapse. You're part of a generation that's remembering what humanity is truly capable of when operating from coherent frequencies. This isn't just personal development, it's species evolution. The information I've shared with you isn't theory. It's not philosophy. It's practical technology for reality engineering that you can begin implementing immediately. Your frequency is your signature in the universe. It determines what you attract, what you repel, and what you can access. Most people live their entire lives unaware that they're broadcasting constantly, unconsciously, creating their reality through their internal state. But now you know. You can't unknow it. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue operating on default frequencies, letting external circumstances dictate your internal state? Or will you take responsibility for your signal and begin consciously creating the reality you want to experience? The choice is yours. The power has always been yours. The only thing that's changed is your awareness of it. Welcome to Frequency Sovereignty. Welcome to Conscious Creation. Welcome to the technology you were born with but never taught to use. Your transmission starts